feet are cold. What a contrast. We're heading up this creek to another small mine today. Produced very high concentrations of gold, mostly in arsenic, and there might even be some iridium up there. Not really sure what more to say until we get there. In either case, it should be a lot of fun going up this creek. I've been really lucky so far. The water level is really high, so I haven't had to portage. Who knows, maybe I'll make it all the way up there. Well, we seem to have hit our first obstacle. What's left of an old beaver dam. I better paddle through here or I'm going to break the motor. But still, looks like we can get through without lifting the boat. There's a big fish down there. Looks like a pickerel. I don't know if you can see that. Definitely was a little pickerel in there. That was no problem at all. Better just park up here for a moment and check our coordinates. Oh, she's warm today. Okay, well, we had to stop. I don't want to go too far. I better check the coordinates. I always like to punch in the coordinates and then read them at least twice before I start navigating to the wrong place. So, how far away are we still? We are still 1.6 kilometers away from our takeoff point from the boat. So I guess we better start the motor and get going. Well, it's getting really shallow, so I've had to change over to the electric motor so we can just crawl up there. You can see there's not a lot of water. But it still beats paddling. And in this heat, it's about 30 degrees today. I sure as heck don't want to be walking too far in the bush, so I hope I can make it quite a ways up like this. It's getting pretty tricky up here now. Every few meters there's a log or a rock or an old beaver dam. Much easier to control though with the electric motor. I'm hoping I'm not going to regret my decision not to bring the canoe today. That's not looking too good. Okay, well, the trip has hit a bit of a snag. There's a small rapids up ahead, and it looks like it continues for quite a long time. I'm 900 meters from my destination, so I'm gonna have to pack it in. It's hotter than hell, but I gotta make it. It looks like following the shore is gonna be just too difficult walking in all these rocks, so I'm gonna have to head up in the bush. Hope that it's easier walking, and at least there's some shade in the bush. Hey, there's a bit of a trail here. Wouldn't that be nice if the trail led us all the way up there? That would be too good to be true. Okay, the mine we're looking for is just on the other side of that swamp. Obviously, I'm not going to tear on through that swamp. I'm going to walk around. It's about 700 meters, and it feels like it's 200 degrees out. So I'm just going to take my time, or there'll be nothing left of me by the time I get there. Almost there. About 200 meters. Thank God. I'm telling you, under this sun, it's just like the desert out here. I wouldn't want to be in the desert. Okay, we made it up to the adit. Wasn't too hard to find. It was just hot like heck getting here. But it looks cool in there. But there's a lot of water. And when you're walking in an adit, there's a million hazards. A big one is water, because if you can't see the bottom, you could step right in a shaft and that'd be it. And there's no one out here to give me a hand, so I'll have to be really careful. I'll probably go in a little ways and try to do a little metal detecting. And you can also see there's this great big waste rock. It's like a big hump. You can see it continues for a long way here. So all the material they took out making that adit, it's all here, all the waste rock. Now I'm definitely going to have to get the metal detector in this pile. I'd like to find the tailings though. This is just the waste rock, the rock they took out when they made the adit. But if I could find the tailings pile, maybe I could find some richer material. So, no idea. I'll just have to keep poking around. And if I find it, I'll be sure to show you. Okay, well, I got the metal detector. I got some lights. And I'm just going to see if I can walk in here a little bit. Doesn't look too deep on the shore. If you look, you can see lots of waste rock on the side. There's no collar on this adit, so a lot of protection in there. Wow, that water's cold. That water is cold. Now you can see what's left of a rail bed here. Feels like pretty solid. Pretty solid. I can see the railroad, or the rail tracks. Lots of fresh air blowing through here. Wow, my feet are cold. What a contrast. All kinds of birds' nests in here. Well, I can't feel my feet anymore, so I got nothing to complain about. That water's like ice. Just keep my eye on the ground. Make sure that under the water it is ground. It looks pretty solid in here. I can't see the end. This goes way in there. I'll just keep going slowly. I can feel a good breeze. There's a good breeze running through here, so I don't think we have to worry about air quality. Smells good, smells fresh. I know this isn't the safest thing in the world to do, but honestly, I think I'm fine. We don't see a lot of mineralization. Yet. I can hear water dripping back there. I'm making waves as I'm walking, and I think it's just splashing on the sides in there. Looks like it just keeps going straight in. I'm looking around for any obvious quartz veins or any type of veins. Everything is very heavily oxidized. Here it looks like something here. Here we have some kind of a vein here for sure. Let me just check, make sure this is safe. Look at this. Now that's some kind of a seam and a quartz vein there. Let me just check that. Very quiet. There could be gold locked up in there. It's not free gold, so therefore the metal detector is not going to pick it up. It's nice and cool. 10 minutes ago I would have drank that water in here. Aha! Steel rails. You can see there's a set of steel tracks. Steel rails that they were using to get the material out of here. That's a good sign for now. There's probably no shaft to fall into. There's something there. Good signal. It's a good signal right there. don't think I want to be chipping at the roof though to get a piece of that material. Piece of wood jammed in a drill hole there for some reason. I'm in about, geez, got to be close to 80 meters, and now there's almost no water. Because as this adit goes in, it does go in up into the mountain. There's a seam. Ooh. Now that's interesting. That's definitely something. I gotta chip some of that out. I didn't think to bring a bag with me when I came in. I'm gonna have to mark this spot. Mark this spot, come back in and chip that out. Oh, it's better feel warm when you get to the entrance. Feet are freezing, of course. Okay. This is the deepest place right here. Okay, let's get our sample bag and get back in there. Okay, back in, try to take a sample of this stuff. Pretty soft material, so probably just gonna fall. What the hell? I mean, what the heck? Can't even collect it, it's all oxidized. There's a few hard pieces in there. What is that? Just all pure oxidized stuff in there. That's about all we're going to get. Okay, so this is where I was trying to get the material out from. There's a seam here running down, and you can see the white. That's the quartz. And then all that oxidization running through it is the minerals seem to just oxidize and turn to mush. So I'm going to take my sample. Take my sample back and then test it. After taking my sample now, I walked in further and it looks like the tracks turn. So now we have an intersection. Tracks keep going that way. And here looks like a big stope, or perhaps they just stopped because the mineralization petered out. Yeah, it looks like it's a dead end. Yeah, they stopped. Went to drill holes to continue, but they decided to stop. Getting all kind of signals down here. Probably pieces of steel. There it is. Piece of steel. Let's go back and follow the tracks. Here's our intersection again. And it ends as well. I stopped here. Lots of loose rock here. And they stopped working here. Well, we've seen the inside and only found one trace of mineralization with the metal detector. Maybe outside in the waste rock piles, if I can find them, or in the tailings piles, maybe I can find something better. But first, let's get out of here. Wow, it's nice to get out of there now. Let my feet warm up. I got just a little bit muddy, but it was very interesting in there. That's got to go back at least 150 meters. But we didn't find what we came for, so let's start looking around for those tailings piles. Now, they took all this material out of this adit and they piled it along here. Now I have to find where were they processing the good stuff. So I'll have to have a walk around and see what I can find. Oh, that's got to be a piece of steel. That kind of a signal, that deep, guaranteed part of this steam pipe. There's a steam pipe that runs from here all the way up into the adit. And it makes it pretty difficult for metal detecting. Still haven't been able to find the tailings. Gonna have to take another few walks around and see. Came upon some old equipment here. Looks like for drilling inside the mine. Some pretty heavy stuff. Steam pipe, and this is probably steam-powered jackleg, I guess, of some kind. What do we have here? Appears to be an old foundation. Part of an old foundation. Like an old rail. Here's another old piece of equipment. Piece of piping. Probably controlled the steam. I finally decided I think I'll try panning a sample from the waste rock. It's just waste rock, and there's actually gold in it. I'm going to try to show you here, but the wide-angle lens on this camera is not going to do it, but I will take a better picture right now with my other camera. There it is. Right there, that's a nice little string piece. Okay, so there is gold here in the waste rock. They just dumped all that waste rock there and didn't process it. I mean, I didn't see a lot of gold, but I mean, that was only a little shovelful in a pan. I'm going to do one more before I go. It's getting late. I got a long walk out, but I got to try one more. This material doesn't look particularly good. It's all light colored material. Don't see anything oxidized at all in there. You might have noticed I'm panning this stuff down pretty fast. These bugs are so bad, you'd be panning fast too. Yeah, there's gold in this pan as well. There's nothing to write home about, but there is gold in all this waste rock. Well, it's time to head out. I've got a long hike back. Then I got to get the boat all the way up the creek and home before night. Before it gets dark anyway. It's been an interesting day. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time on Exploring Northern Ontario.